Hello everybody and welcome live. And we will get going here in just a second. I'm going to put a few links in the chat. Email about anything. To coachstevemoney@gmail.com. And donations, since I don't qualify for YouTube monetization yet, you can donate to paypal.me/coach Steve Money. Okay, and I'm going to try this live first. If anybody, I'll put in the chat. Let's see. Doing the whole recap first, then we'll answer any questions if anyone shows up to this unannounced live stream. Alrighty. Okay. Here we go. It's fun doing it live. We'll see if it works. I'll do all of them live. This is the No Cap recap of the January 4th, Season 9, Episode 3 of the Curse of Oak Island Companion Show. Gonna move that over. Sorry. This is why live. Once again, this is the No Cap recap of the January 4th, Season 9, Episode 3 of the Curse of Oak Island Companion Show, drilling down episode called Preserving the Hunt. If you missed my recap of Episode 2, there will be a link to it on the upper right. Let's get into it. There's an island in the North Atlantic where people have been looking for an incredible treasure for more than 200 years. Host Maddie Blake explains in the open that Rick and Marty Lagina and the whole team have taken on the responsibility of protecting Oak Island's legacy while also working to uncover its secrets. Flashback to 2020 when Dr. Ian Spooner's water samples test show dump truck amounts of silver in the money pit. And to the current season premiere in November of 2021 when he reveals that he learned there is also a test for gold, and a colleague reveals the presence of an elevated amount of gold in the 4 boreholes that are colored gold in this graphic. Right there, C1 and E8 and F4 and K7, and I think F4 was the highest concentration. And he said it is, quote, either in the bedrock or there's something buried down there, end quote. Maddie meets with Rick Lagina and Billy Gerhard at Smith's Cove, where they previously erected a steel cofferdam in order to excavate the area. Maddie recounts the many efforts over the years by all the different searcher teams that attempted to cut off the water supply to the flood tunnels, all of which failed, and some they used dynamite for. The current group did find a 1771 U-shaped structure there. And here a 1769 slipway or wharf. Rick explains that once the steel cofferdam came down, they wanted to restore Smith's Cove. Billy says they had to take out the hundreds of tons of gravel needed for the drill pad right there and put the beach back. Billy goes on to say that there's not only the problem of searchers, but that we are, quote, living in a time of unprecedented climate and sea level change, unquote. The ocean keeps taking away more and more of the island due to erosion. They created these rock walls to try to prevent some of that erosion. 10 tons of earth and boulders were brought in to accomplish that. Rick says that the local people and now a world community care about Oak Island, so it's incumbent upon them to make sure that the island is healed. They have Maddie operate the heavy equipment to put one of the boulders in place. Maddie meets with the archaeology trailer crew and relates that so many of the wonderful finds in the 200-plus-year-old mystery have been lost over time. He goes on to say that the process the current team is using keeps track of every single find. Laird Niven says that in Season 8 there were about 2,000 individual finds. They walk Maddie through the process of bagging the item in the field, documenting when and where it was found on the bag, taking it to the archaeology trailer, quick cleaning, photographing, logging it into the computer, and then conserving the item. They are all stored in a manner in which any of them can be easily found if needed. They also demonstrate the X-ray fluorescence machine, which can determine the types of metals that are in any item. In years prior, they would have had to take the item off of the island to get that information. Next, Maddie meets Rick, Billy, and Tom Nolan in the money pit near the rock garden, which was created with rocks, steel, and cable found on the island, as well as flowers throughout. It is explained that it is a tribute to the many women that have contributed to the Oak Island searches, and it was a day one plan from Rick to do so. It is revealed that the team is planting oak trees on the island. Originally, the island was full of oak trees, and that's how it got its name. The oak trees were all or mostly gone, but now there will be more. It's not evident exactly what part of the island this is, but it might be the area that they call the bald spot, which was mentioned on episode 2 of Drilling Down the previous week. Rick Lagina and Tom Nolan meet with Maddie at the swamp to discuss the long-running feud between Dan Blankenship and Tom's father, Fred Nolan. There was a land rights court battle, which Fred won, in addition to the competition to get to the treasure first. It ended in 2015 when Rick Marty, Dave Blankenship, and the team entered a cooperative effort with Fred Nolan with Dan Blankenship's blessing. Fred passed away the very next year in 2016, and Dan passed in 2019. Fred Nolan discovered the rocks lined up in a cross formation right there that bears his name that was on his property. The rocks are right there, and there. I don't know. It's right there is on this map. I don't know. I think they show up. No, they don't show up. But they are still in place. Also interesting on Google Maps, Google Earth. It's interesting that this part, 3/4 of the island, is a different picture than all the rest of this for some reason. So I'm wondering if they ask Google to not show something like that's going on here. They asked them not to update the picture perhaps, because as you can see, it's just this one rectangle right there, and all the rest of the planet is the same other than that. So I don't know if that's a conspiracy thing, or if they just ask them to, if they wouldn't update it yet, just so it doesn't show anything on here if you zoom in. All right, back to the pictures. Where are we? Cross formation that bears his last name is called Nolan's Cross. Fred Nolan also did many years of the work in the swamp, first theorizing that there was a ship buried there. In recent years, there have been discoveries proving that the swamp was once dry land and that man-made workings there were purposefully hidden by creating a swamp there. Maddie meets with members of the team at the Restall Brothers cabin near Smith's Cove. After the poisonous gas incident that took the lives of Robert, Bobby Jr., and 2 other men, Mildred and Ricky Restall left the island, and the next search team dismantled the parents' cabin, but Fred Nolan stored the kids' cabin on his property near the swamp, using it as a tool shed. In 2019, Tom Nolan donated the cabin for restoration and memorial/display purposes. To conclude the episode, Maddie meets with Rick and Marty Lagina at Smith's Cove, where they reiterate leaving the island better than they found it, including previous searchers' destruction. Rick says the limits on the search will be drawn by science and technology, and Marty says they are poised to solve the whole thing. There is no new Drilling Down episode next week, but there is an enhanced Digging Deeper version of this week's main show episode, The Unusual Suspects. There is a new main show next week called Chamber of Secrets, Swish and Flick. And the description reads, the Fellowship is zeroing in on when the Oak Island mystery began and evidence that the swamp is hiding the wreck of a massive sailing vessel is mounting. All of which we already knew. But hopefully there'll be some new stuff on there. I will be back next week with the no cap recap of that episode 10 of The Curse of Oak Island, and once uploaded or done live, if this thing works okay, I have messed up a few times, there will be a link to it in the upper right of this video. All right, I do have another history thing while I'm here. Let's see. I saw this video the other day from a guy named Dakota of Earth on his YouTube channel, and that's the secret second Sphinx of Giza, and he has a video on it, so go blow his channel up and look at it. And this is a picture of it, and it certainly looks Sphinx shaped. And so he doesn't really have a picture of, he said it was in front of a pyramid, but he didn't say which one. So I went to the Google Maps, and as you can see, there's the Sphinx right there. And that is in front of this pyramid right here, the second pyramid. And there's the third pyramid right there. And if you zoom in, you can probably already see it right there. There's the Great Sphinx. You can already see this area right here. This is in front of the smallest pyramid right here. And this is, I think, where he was. Like I said, he doesn't have a location of where it is, and he doesn't say exactly. He says in front of the pyramid, but he doesn't say exactly where. And it, is not right in front of the pyramid. And there's also Queen Kauai's tomb between it. But there's the third pyramid right back there. Right there. And again, you can see both of them. There's the Great Pyramid right there. And there is this area right here, which nobody really talks about, but that's interesting. And so again, to take a look at it, this is what it is, and that's what I think is there. But like I said, this Dakota of Earth did not put any pictures showing you exactly where it was. Alrighty, let's see. And I think that's all I have. A couple of people showed up. Like I said, this was unannounced, so I wasn't expecting like a bunch of people watching. I just wanted to try it live, and of course I did mess up a few times. Nobody's typing anything in the chat though. I'll stay on a few more minutes and see if anybody does. Trying to think of what else I can talk about Oak Island. I started doing the recaps because I was watching the programs anyway, and there are other people doing recaps, but they're just pictures. There's nobody talking about anything. There's pictures and just a few words on there, and what they're covering is mostly anything to do with treasure, and of course, to some of us, finding out like just what happened there is part of the treasure. The history itself is part of the treasure, and also most of them that are doing it are also doing it snarkily. And I have more respect for their efforts than that, and just for history in general. So I decided to do mine. So I think there are, I think, a couple people watching, but nobody's typing in anything into the chat. So I will just end this, and we'll see how it's received, and maybe if it's fine, I'll do all of them like this, or maybe I'll continue to do the main show, the Curse of Oak Island main show, recaps pre-recorded, and that way if I mess up I can redo them again, and may do the drilling down episodes, the companion show drilling down episodes, do those live, because live is fun to me. So yeah. Alrighty, thanks for watching, and thanks for all your support, and let me know what you think about the live, and if you would be interested in a live attending a live recap of the main show. And the problem with that is I don't know exactly when I can watch the episode and post the thing. I mean, I would have to delay it longer to say, like, okay, well, it's going to be exactly at this time. I would have to delay putting it up longer from when the actual episode airs. So, alrighty, thanks, guys.